You are no less of a man in any way, shape, or form if you haven't had sex before. But we put so much weird pressure on this, where it's like, on one end, you're being told by the conservative and the fundamentalists and the religious that you should never touch yourself or you should never have sex or anything. That's a really bad thing. And then on the other end, it's like, you better as many women as possible, bro. Because if you don't have like 27 notches or 50 notches on your belt by the time you hit 22, then you're just you're a beta boy. That's all I'm gonna say about that, bro. Yeah. Like, men are defined under this terrible patriarchal system as, how good is your job because that makes you successful? How strong are you? Or do you have big muscles? Can you protect people? Do you never show emotion? How many women have you had sex with? Have you had sex with lots of women? Well, what's your number? Because you got to get those numbers up or you're a you know? That is really bad. Really bad. It's time for our segment on the sexless men. According to the Washington Post, the number of men under 30 who never have had sex has tripled in the last 10 years. That is an astonishing statistic. My word. Here it is. Lack of sex is driven mainly by the young. Percent reporting no sex in the past year by age. But bam. Now, David Dole, very sexy man, I might add. He's very, very sexy. Worth noting that this is within the past year, still a problem, but notice the increase since 2008. Speaks largely to how unaffordable housing is and how low wages are with many young people forced to live with their parents. Oh man, that's full on like...
Pause it.
Actually, I needed a record skip. A record skip would have worked way better there. Just an actual like... Yeah. Couple of things are going on here, quite a few, and I've heard so many different theories. I've heard a lot of different discussions. I think there's only one true answer. Actually, I should bring it up right here. Okay, and this is obviously the cataclysm. It corresponds directly to the rise of the career of this man. So we put him right here at this point. It's not working very well. That's. Here we go. Whoa, line go up, bucko. Clean up your room. That's what's happened. That explains everything. This is the rise of Jordan Peterson's career, and he's single-handedly done this. That's a bit. Obviously, what's going on here is a handful of things, and let's discuss them, because I think it is important. I think, and I want everyone who is interested in having sex to have as much consensual sex as possible, and I want them to have as much consensual sex with the people they want to have consensual sex with. I would like there be an increase in the sexy times, because sex is awesome, unless you happen to be asexual or aromantic, and you don't want to be in a relationship with them, and in which case you are also base and valid, and so I don't think this would apply if you are asexual, but outside of that, and again, I'm also aware that asexuality is a spectrum. It can mean a lot of different things. It can also mean that you are interested in sex, but there are other qualifiers that make you asexual. But don't want to digress too much on this. I do want people to have sex. And if they want to, I also want them to have kids if that's the thing they want in their life, or to never have kids if that's the thing they want in their life. I think they should be able to choose, but I'm certainly not in the camp of wanting to live in a sexless society, unlike some of my contemporaries on the right to far right, you no-fap weirdos. Please enjoy the pleasures of your body if that's what you want to do. But we have a handful of things, and something that is really telling about 2008 was, what was 2008? The 2008 financial crisis was one of the things that obviously was a huge thing. Tons and tons of people lost their homes, lots and lots of people lost their jobs. There was a definite downswing in the difficult standards of living. And this, as a millennial, because I am very old, but I am a millennial, that is my generation. We were in a generation that was told by the old people that we were ruining everything. That we were spending way too much money on lattes with soy milk because we're soy, and we were fucking, we loved avocado on toast so much, and we hated soup, and like all this other weird shit. There was like a non-stop barrage of articles about how millennials are just lazy, entitled pieces of shit who refuse to leave their parents' basements because they're downstairs jerking off and playing video games all the time, and that's the only thing they know how to do. They only have two skills, jerking off and playing video games. How can I transform that into a successful person? And then Twitch is like, hold my beer. That's a joke, because no, it's very hard to make money on Twitch. And now they want to run ads over everything. But jokes aside, very serious thing that millennials we went into a very, very shitty workforce, economy, etc. Our baby boomer parents who came before us had the exact opposite that they grew in. They were able, via the difference in the amount of money spent on rent, on food, on what their wages were, protections, high unionization, all that kind of stuff contributed to a much better standard of living for them. And then we were that first generation where it's like, well, they actually have it a little bit harder than the generation that came before it. And now for Zoomers, it's infinitely worse. Infinitely worse. So the economy plays a huge role in this because that was the reason millennials were living in their parents' basements for so very long. You combine that with the fact that it's very unaffordable or very difficult these days to go to college or university. It's definitely a very expensive thing. And the right is also telling you and indoctrinating you that they are bastions of wokeness, horrifying woke factories. Well, I'll be honest, speaking from personal experience, I don't have any statistics and data on this, but I had a lot more sex in college than I did in high school because, again, you have access to meeting lots of people, you socialize with lots of people, you experiment with lots of people, and as long as you're having consensual sex, it's definitely an area where a lot of that takes place. It's the rumors are true about college and university and all that kind of stuff. I was not cool in high school. I was not good with the ladies. I was quite overweight and awkward, and in the film program and that kind of stuff. I was not slaying it in any way, shape, or form in high school. I was very happy to have a girlfriend for the first time at one point, and then another one at another point, and that's about all the good times I was having. But college was different. One of my points is that, A, we have a combination of economic factors, okay? We're talking people have a very difficult time entering the job market. We're about to potentially hit a depression or recession if the interest rate keeps on being hiked up, and yet that's not solving the problem of inflation because they're kind of leaving out the corporate greed aspect. The rich are getting infinitely richer. The poor are getting infinitely poorer. We have the concentration of wealth into the hands of the very, very, very few. We're talking just a couple people now. Just a couple people own half of all the money. Half of it. They just get half. And then the bottom half of the population has to just deal with like the crumbs of the other half, you know? Not a really good thing. All of these factors play into the fact that, yes, people are staying or living at home because they have no other option. It's like, it's this or I'm homeless. And it's like, hey, I want to get a good job, but it's almost impossible to get a high-paying job these days without a university degree. And that's very, very difficult to obtain if you don't have money or financial backing or some way to, find a course to get there. Even if I did go to university, I'm out of university, and now I have a whole bunch of high economic costs. I will tell you, every single time in my life that there has been pressure and you're worried about money, those are not the sexy times. You're not like, well, yeah, I'm going to have trouble paying the bills, but you know what? Could do with some sex now. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty sexy about that insecurity of knowing where I could live or if the power is going to be on or anything like that or where my next meal is going to come from. Now I'm feeling sexy. This is the time, So anyways, that's one aspect of this, and that plays a huge role. You can see that happening from the 2008 financial crisis all the way up until now. Other big factors, of course, social media, our addicted nature on social media, the fact that we're spending hours and hours and hours and more hours ever online, and we feel like we're more connected than ever before to more people than ever before, but it's also simultaneously isolating and depressing. Like all the statistics that come about how Instagram, the thing that I thought was supposed to be the good one, the happy one, the one where people just show you pictures of their vacations and stuff, depresses people. The way that it runs and its algorithms and its addictive personality and its traits keeps people depressed. When you are depressed, you are not horny. You are not feeling sexy. Twitter keeps you mad. Twitter keeps you angry and then depressed, mad and angry and then anxious. It's like bump, bump, bump. And then at that point, you're also not feeling horny or sexy. The social medias are not good for the bedrooms either. There's a lot of factors at play here. And here's another big one. The empowerment of women. Yes, there was, for a very long time in a patriarchal society, two really bad things that happen with toxic masculinity. One of them is that dudes are defined by their ability to not be on this line. That should not be the way. You are no less of a man in any way, shape, or form if you haven't had sex before. But we put so much weird pressure on this, where it's like, on one end, you're being told by the conservative and the fundamentalists and the religious that you should never touch yourself or you should never have sex or anything. That's a really bad thing. And then on the other end, it's like, you better fuck as many women as possible, bro. Because if you don't have like 27 notches or 50 notches on your belt by the time you hit 22, then you're just a fucking cuck and you're a fucking beta boy. That's all I'm going to say about that, bro. Yeah. Like, men are defined under this fucking terrible patriarchal system as, how good is your job because that makes you successful? How strong are you? Or do you have big muscles? Can you protect people? Do you never show emotion? How many women have you had sex with? Have you had sex with lots of women? Well, what's your number? Because you got to get those numbers up or you're a bitch, you know? That is really bad. Really bad. That is also combined with an entitlement that men feel from women, historically, that they are owed sex by them, that women are the barriers of sex, that women are the arbiters of it. It's that they are restricting sex from us. They are taking sex from us. We should be allowed to have the sex at all times without reserve. Why are we not allowed to be the sex havings now? The empowerment of women is a very, very good thing. And the empowerment of women in society is also a very good thing. And the equality and fighting for the equality of women is also a very, very good thing. That has, yes, changed dynamics. In addition to everything else I've just mentioned, like, I've gone through a lot of things here. In addition to that, yes, that has changed dynamics of dating and how dating works and the way men and women have to interact with each other. We are learning as we go along. These are new paradigms. I'm not even in the dating pool right now, so I'm not even someone who's probably going to have this apply directly to them. But those are also playing very big factors. It is a good thing that we fucking reject incel and MGTOW and fucking men's rights ideology that women owe us sex. Because that is not true. No one owes anyone sex. Okay? It's a very weird way to look at the world. It's incredibly misogynistic, and it's dangerous. Because if people start to believe that women not only owe them sex and that they are these gatekeepers and the arbiters of sex and has nothing to do with anything I'm doing either, right? Like, fucking no self-improvement necessary because it's them, the femoids. The femoids are stealing it. The women, they're stealing sex from me. We need to get it back. We must fight for our sex. No, nobody owes anyone anything. And that's just the reality of consent. I'm sorry. And the MGTOW and the men's rights, they dominate this world. They dominate this discussion. And they frame this entire thing in such a way that, ironically, makes you much more unattractive to women. No woman wants to be with a man who hates all women. No woman wants to be with a man who thinks that there's a conspiracy that women are controlling men with their pussies and other weird shit like that. That's not the way to go pick up. There has to be spaces for dudes, for men, to feel safe about expressing this kind of stuff without getting mocked, without getting made, like, when I was in high school, when I was a virgin, like, you couldn't talk to other guys about this stuff. You couldn't talk to other dudes about this stuff. Not even online. You couldn't be like, I feel awkward sometimes talking to girls and I don't know how to meet them. And it would be nice if, like, you'd be like, oh, fuck off, bitch. F-slur. You fucking F-slur. This is a fucking F-slur over here. He fucking probably wants to suck my dick right now. Fucking F-slur. Like, that's horrible. That contributes to this as well. Like, there has to be space where men can feel that aren't fucking incel communities, by the way, because that's what incel communities, they are providing an alternative for this. They are providing the space for people and men who don't feel accepted anywhere else to talk about this kind of shit. Everyone thinks that there's this, like, mass radicalization project of incels converting other incels, and there is a conversion, but that is not, this is like a symptom of the problem, not the cause of it. So incel communities, which make men infinitely worse and sometimes dangerous and sometimes violent, are obviously horrifying. And people who steer them towards that, your Sneekos, your Andrew Tates, your Fresh and Fit, all of the fucking men's rights, MGTOW, red pill community, yes, it steers people into that. It steers people and men into a place where they start to feel that women are the cause of their problems, not the systems themselves. It's why it overlaps so nicely and so beautifully with alt-right ideology, because then you also get to excuse the Jews or the blacks or indigenous people or whoever it is you want to pick, or trans people. Trans people is really popular right now. They overlap so well because they're also the cause of your problems. These are the causes of your problems, not everything else. It has nothing to do with your job, your boss, the fucking the owning class, the fucking the climate, energy, fucking none of that. it has nothing to do with any of that. It's either the Jews or trans people or black people or indigenous people. Like, the whole point of populism is to make the dominant group feel like they are under threat in order to preserve their dominance. That is populism. That's populism 101. And this stuff serves the same way. Having men's rights or red pill or men's spaces or whatever it is, where they come in there and it's like, I am here because I feel like I want to help you be the best man you can be. I want you to help you to become a provider and a protector. And this is what a man has to be. These are the only things men can be. And I'm going to teach you this. And we're also going to teach you about women and their fucking entitlement and how they fucking think they have magic pussies and they can control us with their pussies and fuck them, like blah, blah, blah. Like, you are trying to craft men into really, really fucking terrible people. And it sucks because dudes rock. And there has to be more space and better places to learn about this kind of stuff and to feel comfortable talking about this kind of stuff and to take off, like, the stigma from someone who doesn't always hook up or someone who doesn't always have a girlfriend or someone who doesn't always meet people. There has to be a way more comforting environment for that kind of stuff. Because I think, deep down, that this is something that can be improved. I think this has a lot of factors right now, and I think one of the biggest things going on here, like, it's not just men, by the way, there's an increase in women as well. You can see from 2008, there's an 18% increase in women. And I want women who want to have consensual sex and enjoyable orgasms with other people to not be increasing. Like, I want them to have more consensual sex and more pleasurable sex and all the things that you know will make them happy. I want that. I want that for men and for women. So I would like to see these numbers obviously decline. But this is telling. The fact that both of these are in the incline, obviously increasing more for men, but this is a factor of 10%. It's just more people in general aren't fucking, or aren't having sex, men and women and non-binary people. There's less people fucking now than ever before, and there's a lot of factors in that. That I tried to run through what I consider to be probably the most academically oriented causes of this. If you live in your parents' basement, or you live in your parents' house, or you live in an apartment room, or even on the floor of a friend's house or in a parent's place, you probably have much less opportunities to have sex, or probably don't even feel like bringing people back there. Like, living on your own increases your ability to, yes, have a more private sex life. That's a big factor. People not having homes. Sex toys have gotten vastly better too. You know what? Maybe we'll just overlap, because fucking vibrator technology is so advanced now. Fucking fleshlight technology is so advanced now. We're just gonna cross over. It tells everyone's like, I do enjoy the feel of a real woman, but at the same time, this is just, it's getting too good. It's too advanced. It's far too advanced. You know, my vibrator is too loud. Decrease in social communities, young people can mean it as another factor, going online, less IRL. That's another thing. Is that it sucks because, like, so in my day, back in the day, one of the big places that you would go to meet people to hook up with and to have sex with eventually, if they were consensually interested, was de clubs, was going to de clubs. And it's always sucked. I like going to clubs to see a DJ I want to see or a band I want to see and just enjoying the music. I like that experience. But man, the act of going to a club where it's so fucking loud, it's so sweaty and smelly, you can barely hear anything, everyone is like half cut, and then there's the game of, you know, first you dance with each other and then you go back and then you start talking and you flirt with each other and then you hook up. Like, all of it was just like, it's never been enjoyable. I'm ace and arrow. I give 0 fucks. That's point to ace and arrow people, is because clubs suck. clubs really suck. So that's a really shitty in-person environment to meet people. So here, I don't want to just talk shit and talk about all the causes. I also want to talk about solutions, so we can get everyone who wants to fucking. If you are looking to meet people, I don't recommend clubs. I do not recommend that. And I have said in the past, and I've definitely 180 on this, that maybe you know, don't hook up with people or try to hook up with people who are doing activism, because the activism should be first and foremost how you do it. I'm just saying, I know friends who are like in long-term relationships who've met that way, and I always thought that was kind of cute. They were both at a protest together, but I completely agree with the rationale and the people who say you should not do that, because that the focus should be the activism. So I agree with you 100%. I was wrong on that. I'll take a big old L. But one of the best ways to meet people, honestly, have a dog. If that's too hard, get your friends who have dogs to loan you their dog for a walk, because they will love that. It gives them an hour of time where they don't have to deal with their dog, which is really, really nice for them. And you get to go on a nice, wonderful walk. As you go on a walk, either through the beach or the park or whatever, you're going to find a lot of people want to talk to you. Now, I'm not saying as soon as someone's like, oh, cute dog, you go, want fuck? Because that's horrifying, and never do that. I'm saying in the process of doing this, you will meet a lot of people, even people you might not be interested in having sex with, and this is a good thing, and learn how to have many conversations with strangers. Start normalizing that. Start getting in the process of feeling more comfortable, because guess what? Dudes and women, it's hard for everyone. Even the most alpha Chad who walks into the room that everyone looks over and it's just like, even the straight dudes are like, I want to suck that guy's dick. I don't know why. Even him has a time or another when he feels awkward in social situations, because we all do. Okay, it's a combination of factors that are working, and especially the stakes get a little bit higher, so there's a little bit more nervousness turned up if you're actually trying to meet people for relationships and stuff like that. So normalize and get in a regular process of having conversations with people. As you have more conversations with people, you will find, just like anything else, any other activity that you have done that you maybe sucked and were shitty at and then became good at it over time, or at least adequate, right? Could be playing the violin, could be running, could be jogging. So too will you find speaking to people and having conversations with people becomes more natural and less nervous and way more easy. And suddenly you start to enjoy talking to a stranger. That is something that is very hard to overcome. It probably will take you some time, especially if you're extra anxious about this, but you will. I can promise you will. I have told this to some friends who were the most socially awkward people, and yes, it did take a long time, but they completely broke out of their shells. And now you would never know that they were incredibly socially awkward. And I have been very socially awkward in my life before, so I definitely know your pain. I'm just saying, normalize having conversations with people. That's my example, because one, I find people more often than not approach you. And when they approach you, you can have conversations with them, blah, blah, blah. And do not enter those conversations thinking every single person, will I fuck them? Or is this just the prelude to the fuck? Don't worry about the fuck at first. The first thing is getting to be able to feel comfortable having conversations with people, talking to people, learning how to be and this is just a great skill in general, because you will be infinitely more pleasant and interesting to be around if you understand how to have conversations where you're just not waiting for your turn to speak. You're not just sitting there thinking, okay, I have a story related to a thing you just said. I can't wait to tell my story. So it's my turn very soon. Okay, it's going to happen now. Okay, you're almost done talking. Oh yeah, I got a great one about that, right? Like, it's great sharing anecdotes, but that's not the way you should be thinking in your head when you're talking to someone. Get to learn things about them, get to learn the information they're giving you as well. That's going to make you a far more fascinating person to be around if you can engage with what people are talking about instead of waiting for your turn to speak, which unfortunately is the way that a lot of people kind of learn how to have conversations in their social environments or whatever it is. And yes, you will meet people better. You will talk to people better. It doesn't matter if you've been doing like those kind of things for a very long time, and then suddenly you go to, say, a music festival, like a 3-day music festival, you'll find that you will be infinitely more comfortable speaking to people in that social environment than you would have had you not been practicing and meeting people. That should be the first step. Normalize also meeting people and not meeting them solely for having sexual relationships. I know this seems counterproductive to the whole let's get these numbers down. Let's see the line plummet. I want to see the line, go to like here. But like, in addition to all of that, it's also okay to have friends. And it's also okay to have friends who are women if you are men and you are straight. That it's a good thing, actually. I know there's this weird corner of the internet where they're just obsessed with saying that like men and women can never have platonic relationships. I've like 5 of my best friends who have been my best friends my whole life have been women. It's like growing up, like long-term friends, and we never were sexually attracted to each other. We were never trying to have sex with each other. I would have my own relationships, they would have their own relationships. Like, it is 100% normal and can happen. I don't believe for a second. Like, it's just, it's fun to have a variety of opinion and a variety of different takes on things. Like, people, not just people, but like, women will have different takes sometimes, I find, than men. There's my generic stereotyping for you, stuff like that. If you're a gay man, normalize having friendships, because a lot of my gay friends are totally fine with this with other gay men. I know, astonishing. It's just weird. Men being as horny as they are, and gay people being as promiscuous as they allegedly are. They're not all constantly just fucking and sucking each other every second of every day. No, they're not. I have gay friends who have gay roommates, and they have both been single at times, and they don't just start fucking each other. Or they have an entire circle of friends who don't all fuck each other. Like it happens. It's you know, it's very, very normal. It's great to have friendships with a variety of people to be able to sort that. Anyways, also, if you have questions, if you're a dude and you have concerns and you're like, I just don't feel comfortable talking about this kind of stuff and I have no friends I can talk to, instead of going down the road of the red pillars and all that, because honestly, those dudes hate men. The whole red pill MGTOW ecosystem, they hate men. All of them do, because they're willing to turn men into women-hating monsters for profit. That's how they make their money. They make their money by selling you a lie that all women are a monolith. They're all the worst, like, creatures on earth kind of shit. And it's just not true. There are women who are going to try and scam you. There are women who are going to try and manipulate you. There are women who are going to, yes, just be with you for money. And there are women who not. Like, women aren't a monolith. There's really shitty women and really, really evil women, and there's really good women, and there's really amazing women. Like, it's just the same thing with dudes. There's really shitty men. There's fucked up men. There's men who will try to destroy the earth, and there's awesome ones, super based ones, fucking rock stars. Okay, there's really good. There are rock stars who don't fuck underage fans. They exist. There are good ones. They're definitely in the minority, it seems, these days, but there are really good ones. And see, that's the problem with the fucking Sneakos, with the Andrew Tates, with the Fresh and Fit. All of them are doing this for profit. They're trying to sell you, and usually sign up for their fucked up courses, by the way. They all have courses. I mean, surprise, surprise, on how you can unlock the secrets of the pussy. Only $49.99 per month. It's worth it, bro. And you'll learn how to become a millionaire on the crypto markets, because that will never go wrong. So sign up for this other one, $49.99, bro. You will unlock the puss and unlock the fucking Doge at the same time. Simultaneously. Like, no, they are grifting. They are selling this idea that women are evil, turning men into women haters who are apparently going to be more successful at the sex. Or okay, fine, but they're turning men into, they hate men, and they're doing it for money. They're doing it for profit. It's so fucking perverse and backwards. And there is a huge market for this online now, because obviously, look, there's a massive market for this online. And yeah, like, men want answers. Men want to learn things. Men want to be able to ask questions, and in a lot of cases they can't. It's at this time that I would like to plug reddit.com/r/menslib, the best, in my opinion, men's space, safe men's space, where you can ask any questions. No questions are off bounds, but you will be dealt with a community of intersectional feminists who are for the liberation of men, women, everybody, because patriarchy is bad for men as well. Very awesome space for men to go that is not an incel community, that is not a fucking red pill community, and you can ask any questions you want, and you will be met with genuine, thoughtful answers if you are asking in good faith, right? You can't go there and be a troll. You can't just go there and be like, why are there only two genders? Blah, something like that. But you can ask questions about anything related to anything you want, and probably get a very well thought out answer. And the best thing about it is that it's like an ever-growing community of people teaching each other, becoming more based, and then teaching other people, and they in turn teaching more people. So it's like love growing. It's fantastic. Go check it out, and then ask why women be shopping. Comrade Homer's right. Ladies be shopping, right? Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback, because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd La Jeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.